Afternoon, I'm Scott Holcomb, principal of Taunton High School. It is April 4th, 2022. Thank you for joining us for our presentation. Here today to do the presentation is our assistant principal, Kristen Keenan. Ms. Keenan?
Good afternoon, and thank you guys for joining us today. We have some exciting news as we are making some changes to the Taunton High School schedule. It is a schedule that has been with us for many years, but after long deliberation, we've decided to make some changes, and we thought we would walk you through this today so that families get a better understanding of what changes will take place during the 2022-2023 school year. So, we have had block scheduling at Taunton High School since the 1997-1998 school year. David Ortiz had just started in the major leagues. Cell phones were not items that students owned at that time. Social media did not exist. MCAS was not yet a requirement for graduation. And AirPods didn't exist as well. So it was a very different educational environment at that time. And during this period of over 20 years of having the 4x4 block at Taunton High School, the sections that we provided students increased from 600 sections to over 1,100. We went from an enrollment of 1,700 students to our current day enrollment of over 2,700. Our teaching faculty essentially doubled to almost 200 faculty members. Our selections by students increased from 13,000 to approximately over 21,000. Taunton High School now houses the 8th grade. It didn't do so when we started the block scheduling environment. And we've increased our Chapter 70 programs, those are vocational programs, from 1 to 7. In addition, we have increased our advanced placement programs from 5 to approximately 19. And our demographics have changed considerably in the city of Taunton. We have a larger special ed population, 504 population, ELL population, and a larger higher needs population. Now that being said, the 4x4 has served us incredibly well for many years. We've had incredible arts programs built during this time, whether it be band, chorus, or visual arts. Our AP courses have grown exponentially. So have our Chapter 74 vocational programs. We now have innovative pathways where students can look at a particular pathway, such as information technology or health care, and they can choose classes that help them direct them towards that in their post-secondary pursuits. Our world languages program has grown as well. But that being said, we'd like to build on all of that so that this school provides a safe and secure environment for every student, gives access and opportunity to all students, and produces students that are prepared for a variety of post-secondary pursuits. In doing that, we started this process approximately 40 years ago, in 2018. It was the time of our decennial NEASC visit, and they came in to determine whether we were going to receive our decennial accreditation, which is very important for high schools across the state of Massachusetts and all of New England. Simultaneously, our accountability rating at Taunton High School had dipped. And so DESE, the Department of Education in the state, had sent some experts here to Taunton High School to speak with us in terms of our curriculum, our instruction, our assessments, and to help us self-reflect on how we could do a better job in moving forward with students at Taunton High. So we had those two entities start working with us. And in conjunction with that, in the work that curriculum supervisors, teaching faculty, and administration did over the course of the next 4 years, we determined that we would like to make some shifts. And that first started by changing our vision at our high school. And I won't read this to you, but the essence of it is that all students need access and opportunity to pursue post-secondary pursuits. whether that's at the collegiate level, whether that's at the vocational level, whether that's at the military level, or just entering the workforce. And we really wanted to provide a school that gave all of those opportunities for students leaving Taunton High. To get into some of the specifics of some of our concerns that we had, was that there was a lack of continuity in core classes, including world languages. So for example, if you're a parent that went to Taunton High School during this time period, or you're a former student, you know that you may have taken English 1 during the fall of your freshman year and English 2 in the spring of your sophomore year. And during that spring of your sophomore year, you might have to test, or you would have to test for MCAS in March of that year for purposes of graduation. So there's this lack of continuity in learning for students, particularly in testing subjects by the state. And we found that there was a correlation with that and student test scores. Certain advanced placement courses were full year, but the majority were not. Again, at the end of every school year, if you take an advanced placement course that is given by the College Board, you take a national test. So we had many students that took their advanced placement courses in the fall, and they weren't testing until May in the spring. Of course, that does affect scores as well, so we wanted to provide some continuity there. There were class size and space concerns. As we have grown as a city, the number of students entering Taunton High School has grown. And as a result of that, it has become harder and harder to schedule the building to provide smaller classes for personalized learning experiences, or finding physical space to house classes, and actually having trouble with students getting courses that they want. There were instructional concerns, particularly with 8th and 9th grade students with the 84-minute block. Many of these students are coming from a middle school where they have 50 some odd minutes of class time. That was a big leap, and so the transition was difficult. There were CTE concerns, our Chapter 74 vocational concerns. The state has mandates in terms of dosage time for vocational programs, and we wanted to make sure that we were hitting those dosage hours so that students in the vocational programs would be successful. So what we did was we got together. I mentioned NEAS coming in, I mentioned the state coming in. We created a scheduling committee in January of 2018. We put out stakeholder engagement, including student input during advisories, parent-guardian input during PTP meetings, faculty survey results. The district also spent the time and the money to incorporate a contracting group known as ABLE, a consulting group, to come in. They work throughout the country on developing the best schedules for schools and districts based on their needs. And then with our direct input from our superintendent of schools, assistant superintendent of curriculum instruction, our curriculum advisors, as well as our district STEM coordinator, they looked at the overall picture as well. Along with our guidance counselors here at Taunton High School, our faculty, our administration, and our DESE consultants. It's a lot of people that spent a lot of time looking deeply at the pros and cons of our schedule, the strengths and weaknesses, and how could we build a schedule that would really be in the best interest of all students at Taunton High. The priorities that we came up with was that we wanted year-long core courses for students for continuity purposes. We wanted course-taking opportunity for college and career choice for every student at Taunton High. We wanted to meet those vocational requirements, those dosage hours. We wanted to be able to increase our internship program, as well as students having the eligibility to take part in dual enrollment programs throughout the state. We wanted to increase our ability to schedule common planning time for teachers in certain subjects. We wanted to increase academic and social emotional supports for students. We wanted a better transition program for 8th graders. We wanted the potential to create a win or a flex block in the school that would help students in terms of academic issues or potential social emotional issues. We wanted to build a community with the school culture that would reduce discipline needs at Taunton High School. And we wanted expanded opportunity for the arts and vocational programs. And those became our priorities. And from that, we put forward a proposal. And the proposal calls for a 6-period day for 8th grade academies, as well as students in grades 9 through 12. So it is a 6 base. It is not a block, and it is not full year. It's more of a hybrid program. And depending on the course in the department will depend on whether courses are full year or semester based. Classes will be approximately 57 minutes in length. In 8th grade, the cores will have class sizes of approximately 20 for more personalized instruction. In grades 9 through 12, class sizes at approximately 24, again for those cores. There will be year-long core subjects with some exceptions, and there will be both year-long and some semester-based elective programs. This coincides with Mass Core philosophy, which is Mass Core puts out what courses students need to take to get into a 2-year, 4-year college or university, but also for other post-secondary pursuits. So you can get an idea of what our graduation requirements are here at Taunton High School. They coincide with state Mass Core requirements. And we've also added some additional offerings of what will be either full year or semester-based courses. So I know that what you're interested in is what the schedule will look like. And it is a hybrid in and of itself, which is interesting. The way we've made this work is because logistically, we have to work with the space we have. We have one cafeteria. What we've done is we've actually expanded the number of lunches that we have. Typically right now, we have 5 lunches per day. Next year, we will be going to 6 lunches per day. What this will allow for is for 8th grade students to have lunch, 2 separate lunches solely with the 8th grade. This is another example of transitioning 8th graders slowly into the high school where we have more adult supervision over them. Those students in both of those lunches will be smaller overall, which will benefit them in a number of ways. So we have an 8th grade schedule and we have a 9 through 12 grade schedule. Predominantly, those schedules match in periods 1, 2, 5, and 6. Where they differ a little bit is during periods 3 and 4. Now, the reason we're able to do this is for the first time, what we are creating is an 8th grade academy. So every 8th grader coming into Taunton High School next year will be part of a cohort, an academy cohort, and they will travel with their peers for their 4 cores in the middle of the day through periods 2 through 5. This will allow for the 4 core teachers to work with one another in common planning time. It will help provide structure for those 8th grade students, and it will provide better communication from teachers to families regarding the progress of their student transitioning to the high school in their academic work. That academy model that we were using will allow all 8th graders to have their lunch a different period than students in 9th through 12th grade. 9th through 12th graders will be having their lunch a different period, and they will rotate through 4 different lunches. So in total, there will be 6 lunches here at the high school. Now again, we are going to make this presentation available to you so you can look at it more closely, and we will be putting this schedule up on the Taunton High School website so you can take a look at it. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to either Mr. Holcomb or myself with questions. So another question we know that families are going to have is, well, what will the schedule of my child look like? So essentially, This would be an example of a grade 8 student coming in to Taunton High School next year. They may be part of the honors program, or they may be part of the college prep program. And you can see that the majority of their classes will be approximately 57 minutes long. The first period of the day is a little longer to accommodate morning announcements, Pledge of Allegiance, etc. And then they will be having lunch during their period 3. That will be broken up into 2 separate lunches. This will allow us to seat students by academy, again, more structure, more overseeing, and more support of those students during this time. Now, if you look at the actual courses, you will see that if you're a student in grade 8 and you are taking college prep classes, all grade 8 students will have their electives either the first period of the day or the last period of the day. And they will rotate through their course from periods 2 through 5. And as was written in the letter that was sent out last Friday to all families, English will be full year, math, science, and social studies for all grade 8 students. Again, all 8th grade students do have to test in the state of Massachusetts in math, science, and English for 8th grade year. Now, these electives that are available are interesting because what it allows us to do, depending on the elective in the department, some of our electives will be full year, some will be half year, and some will have a choice. So for example, your child might be a band student, and they may want to take band all year. That being said, they would have band in the morning, and then they could choose either another full year elective to take in the afternoon, or they could split it up and take 2 separate electives during 2 different semesters. This is a further breakdown of how the academies would look. It's to give you a visual of how students will be cohorted so that, again, we can keep a closer eye on them, provide them with more academic and social support as they move through 8th grade here at Taunton High School. This would be an example of a 9th grader's schedule. They will be eating lunch during 4th period. What lunch they eat will depend on the course that they're taking at the time next year. But again, you will see course will be full year. Okay? In addition to that, we will have world languages available for their 1st and 2nd levels full year. That's a first here at Taunton High School. They've always been semesterized, and we're very proud of that fact. That will provide students a lot of continuity in learning a foreign language. This would be an example of a grade 10 student's schedule. And as you can see, as a student moves on through the years at Taunton High School, their elective choices, as I move to grade 11, start to increase. And by the time they're in their senior year, they will have a lot of elective choices to choose from. Now, perhaps they're part of a vocational program. That will allow them to do almost half of their coursework in that vocational program. Or perhaps they're really keen on being in the music department, both in band and in choir. That allows for full years for them if they so choose. So what this new schedule really does is provide a lot more flexibility for us at Taunton High School to provide the types of courses and the supports that students need to make them eligible for any post-secondary pursuit that they really want to pursue later in life. And I think that this can round this up essentially. We really thank you for your time. If you have any additional questions, please email Mr. Holcomb or myself. We'd be happy to call you or email you back with any answers that we can. We thank you and have a wonderful day.